so much. I hope you guys don't mind if I pace. I like to walk. I like to feel energy. I like to feel movement through my body. I would say that I was lucky enough to exit the matrix when I started Chinese medicine school. And I started Chinese medicine school as a rebellion. It was a rebellion to growing up in an allopathic medical doctor's family. My dad was a family practice doc, and my mom was a nurse. And I grew up in his office. And he was a heart-centered doctor in California in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And we watched HMOs take over, telling doctors how they could take care of their patients. And the time frame got smaller and smaller and smaller, and my dad became more and more frustrated. And I also watched him more and more frustrated with the fact that he just had drugs to offer to his patients. I saw him palpating initially when he had time, and I saw him giving enemas to grandmas in the bathroom. He was a real hands-on doctor. But as HMOs took over, we saw a narrowing of that time and a decay of care. And so I swore I would never be a doctor. And my first acupuncture treatment was during college, and I was able to relieve allergies that I've been medicated for my entire life in one treatment. It was profound, and that started me on my path. And my path perfectly aligns with what Mary was just talking about, and that is a nature medicine. A medicine that acknowledges that we are children of the earth, that the phenomenons that happen in nature also happen in our body. And in order for me to study this medicine, I had to conceptually exit the matrix that we grew up in. And this matrix actually is a soul trap, and illness is a soul trap. And the trap it's Plato's cave. We're confined in a box of reality that we actually get before we're born because our parents and our grandparents have been exposed to those concepts and that framework and the limitation. And learning Chinese medicine got me conceptually out of that box. I was practicing medicine in Santa Fe for 24 years, Chinese medicine, but I was still in the matrix. I was practicing insurance medicine, meaning I still was told what to do. And what I also saw during this time was that part of that illness trap was patients, even if they're going to alternative medicine doctors, being dependent on those doctors still. And that doctors didn't have time, nor were we cultivated to teach people how to be their own doctors. And that became my mission. It became my mission to teach people how to learn to be connected to the earth, thank you, Mary, and how to use the tech of the past and the emerging tech of the future to become our own doctors and to heal ourselves. And so what I would like to share is that if we can conceptually bring ourselves out of the thought form that illness is prescribed, that we have to focus on the illness in order to get through illness, and I'd like to propose that wellness is our birthright, that we are designed, we have an incredible blueprint that gives us the power to heal ourselves, to be connected with the divine, and get that wise, sage information from within in order to find our path to wellness and wholeness. So when we're all still in the matrix somewhat, but when I decided to move here, it was in rebellion to the gift of 2020 and 2021. I don't need to say what that is, you all know what that was. And what I saw was acupuncturists, yoga practitioners all adopt the prescribed medication for the amazing gift that showed us what the authorities, how far they would take what they are trying to do for us, trying to keep us in Plato's cave, keeping us disconnected from our true wisdom. And so I came to this beautiful land of Texas because of the freedom that was offered relative to what was going on in Santa Fe, New Mexico. The land of enchantment, the land of spirituality, the land of indigenous cultures thriving, still yet had a cloud of darkness over it. And my rebellion was in beauty, it was in celebration, and it was in wisdom that this is not reality. This is not true reality. And true reality is that we are always connected. And that connection goes through our heart. This is our vortex of connection. This is our master creator of the vibration that we inhabit. Just as Mary was saying, she was so eloquent in all of her words. I really appreciate going right after her. So a few of the things that I want to ask you is when Lama Tashi was doing his expressions of mantras, could you guys feel that in your body? Yeah. When Carol was singing, couldn't you feel that resonance? This is amazing tech. This is amazing tech that's been around forever, and it is living and always accessible to us. And part of what I want to share with you is the tech inside ourselves, the tech inside our bodies, because we have brilliant divine creation, tech inside our bodies that creates wellness. And this, I propose, is what we focus on. So, as a doctor of Oriental medicine and trying to find tools and trying to help people connect, one of the things that I noticed is that there are therapies out there that doctors are charging a lot for that can actually be adopted at home. That we don't need to be dependent on that treatment, going and paying excessive amounts for those treatments, and that a lot of this can create sovereignty, medical sovereignty for us in our lives. And one of those is medical ozone. Does anyone know how long medical ozone's been around? Has anyone received medical ozone? Do you use ozone in your dentist practice? Beautiful. Raise your hand if you've received ozone as a treatment. Beautiful. So ozone, the first generator was actually made by Nikola Tesla. And he created it, thank you, he created it before the turn of the 1900s. And it was being used on the battlefields, actually, to help sepsis and to have profound antimicrobial treatments. And what we've discovered over the last, especially the last 30 years, is that ozone does so much more. And so as I was telling my patients to go get ozone treatments, they couldn't afford it, truthfully. One treatment is 150, it's a low dose in the IV, and maybe you need 20 of them. Or if you get a high dose systemic ozone, it's at least $1,500. And maybe you need 10 of them to overcome illness. And so I took it upon my mission to learn it and then to start teaching people how to use it at home. Because the generators are available and it can be applied to any tissue. And why I bring ozone to this conversation is because it optimizes our mitochondria. Our mitochondria are one of the tech structures, one of the cellular structures inside our bodies that generate the chi, that generate the energy, that generate the light that animates our life, that animates everything that we do. So if we close our eyes and we feel the tingling, the aliveness in our cells, that's from our mitochondria. Mitochondria generates our energy. And a hallmark of aging is mitochondrial degeneration, mitochondrial degradation, the ability, less and less of our mitochondria to make that energy. And so one of the things that's been discovered in the last 30 years is that ozone applied systemically and locally reverses mitochondrial aging. It actually reverses degradation of these amazing powerhouses inside our body. And the way that it does that is complex. Science has verified it, but it actually increases, I'm gonna get a little techie, but it increases our cellular NAD. And if you're following biohacking spaces right now, you know that NAD is a multi-billion-dollar industry right now. MNM, resveratrol, sirtuin pathways, fasting, all these are great hacks. But if you apply ozone at home to your cells and tissues, you can systemically reverse that mitochondrial degradation through a ritual, through a self-care ritual of applying ozone into your bloodstream. And I propose, instead of the vein, to place it in your rectum, which then goes into the enterohepatic circulation and becomes part of our bloodstream. And then it circulates, it crosses the blood-brain barrier, it increases our cognitive function, it increases cellular oxygen use, and it gets rid of profound infections of all kinds. So to the fact that one of our ozone legends, Dr. Rowan, was commissioned by African governments to go and treat Ebola with ozone. So this is how profound it is. When 2021 appeared, those of us in the ozone space knew that we could treat what was out there with ozone, and it was suppressed. It was suppressed. So that's part of the soul trap. And so what I want to share with you is this technology is available, and you can learn it. And you can take these tools and apply them to yourself in a way where you are committing to wellness, committing to reversing aging and getting out of the sickness mentality, the illness mentality, and cultivating wellness on a cellular level. And what's also beautiful about it, I'm not making the Illuminati sign, is that ozone is a triplet oxygen molecule. It's 3 molecules in a triangle of oxygen. That's what ozone is. Some of you might be thinking, but that's a poison. I get that all the time. It is only a poison if we don't know how to apply it. And it is not a poison to every tissue. I said that wrong. It is not a poison to any tissue. Our lungs can breathe ozone if we bubble it through oil. And that profound effect can go into our lungs and heal respiratory illnesses, prevent upper respiratory illnesses from becoming systemic. And so as we feel this life flowing through us, know that the mitochondria are a tech inside your body given by beautiful divine intelligence for us to cultivate and focus on and improve. The second thing I want to share with you is I'm tying it into a Chinese medicine concept, or it's actually a Taoist concept. And that concept is of Wuji. It's the oneness of all creation. It's the quantum field. And inside our bodies, we have a manifestation of that, and it's in our bones, and it's our stem cells. Our stem cells are células madres. They are the mother cell. They are an empty cell inside our bone marrow. It's actually in every tissue. We actually have about 10 to 15, if you're over 35, you have about 10 to 15 million stem cells left in your body circulating. And beautiful ancient cultures and ancient civilizations may not have known about stem cells, but they know about the regenerative power of herbs. And because they were able to observe over generations certain herbs that create longevity, they were able to see and understand and know that something beautiful was happening when we get to allow our souls to interact and share with some plants. And so just as ozone doesn't need to be a clinical procedure, you can bring it home. You can also bring stem cells home now without having to go and spend $20,000 for stem cell injections from shark, sheep, from umbilical cords. So right now in the space of stem cells, what we've known up until about 3 years ago is that we go to clinics and we pay a lot of money and we regenerate. The power of these stem cells help us regenerate our tissue. We can rebuild lung tissue. We can rebuild our retina. We can rebuild our liver. We can rebuild any tissue in our body because these cellular magnets, these stem cells, are empty and they can manifest into everything. So, there is a formula now that we can take instead of spending $3,000 per injection, that we can take an herbal formula that has been proven scientifically to increase our circulating stem cells in 2 to 4 hours by 50%. And I share that with you because this is a great quantum leap in people being able to treat themselves. People being able to take this ancient tech and take modern tech and bring it home and be able to regenerate. And when we are profoundly addressing our cellular structures from the very minute level, we are cultivating wellness. We are stepping outside of a prescribed illness paradigm and stepping into a wellness paradigm. And I would like to finish, I only have a few minutes left. I would like to say that even with the tech inside us, this is our most powerful tech here. And our society has saboteurs that have tried to block our connection with the divine. And we have saboteurs inside ourselves that block us from connecting with the divine. And so our job is to try to allow and integrate our saboteurs to have a voice, but to let our sage, the sage that comes from our heart, be the voice that is the strongest voice. And one other thing that I'd like to share, because I don't know if she has a platform, but we have Cindy in the back, and she has a plethora of stones back there. And she has written a book that's called Becoming the Entity Doctor. And what I want to propose is that this book, so this is another taking something home, because when I work with patients, I help clear entities in their system, because those saboteurs are blocking us from our divine birthright of taking in the Christ consciousness that Mr. Phoenix was talking about, and etherizing our blood, as Rudolf Steiner talks about, and letting that light become who we are, expressing our gifts. And she has a how-to on how to clear entities, which is profoundly important. These are the saboteurs. These are the saboteurs. It's incredible what health and well-being and cultivating that can feel like. We be able to express our talents, our gifts, our connection with others when we feel well and when we're not steeped in illness. And it is my prayer to all of you that If we can step outside of this paradigm of illness and cultivate the wellness, that is what we can share with others. And then our hearts will connect and we will live our greatest destiny. Thank you.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you.